That it's not so much God extracting a price for genius, Gus. I think it's that genius itself extracts the price. With every blessing, there is a tiny bit of curse that goes along with it.
All right, y'all, come on in and get comfortable, because this right here is one of those moments where the tension is so thick, you can almost feel it through the screen. This ain't just shade. This ain't just petty words flying back and forth. This is years of side eyes, slick comments, industry whispers, and built-up frustration finally boiling over. Tamar Braxton has officially been warned, and K. Michelle, she is not playing anymore.
When someone says they're ready to slap somebody hard, that's not a joke. That's not for laughs. That's what happens when patience runs out and silence turns into anger. And the wild part? This didn't start yesterday. This isn't some random internet beef that popped up overnight. This is a long, messy history that's been quietly growing behind the scenes while the cameras were rolling and the microphones were hot.
Tough battle in the hospital. Reverend Jimmy Swaggart passed away at 90 years old.
People have been pretending everything was cool, smiling through gritted teeth, but now the mask is slipping, and once that happens, there's no going back. So let's talk about how we got here, why K. Michelle finally snapped, and why Tamar might want to think twice before brushing this off like she always does, because this time, it feels different. Now, to really understand why this moment is so explosive, you've got to understand who these women are and what they've been through. Tamar Braxton didn't just fall into fame. She grew up in a family where music was everything. Singing wasn't just a dream, it was survival. From the Braxtons to her solo career, Tamar built a reputation for being loud, talented, funny, and sometimes messy. She says what she feels, even when she probably shouldn't.
I was a baby. And to someone that's very young, things like cars, suits, etc., probably mean more than they would when you get a little older. You realize it's not so much there anymore. And I had some decisions to make, and the Lord helped me to make them. I've never regretted them, not one single solitary time.
And for years, people excused it as just her personality. That's just Tamar being Tamar. But behind that big personality came burned bridges, bruised egos, and a whole lot of people feeling disrespected. K. Michelle, on the other hand, came into the industry fighting for her spot. She wasn't handed anything. She told her story raw and unfiltered, especially when it came to pain, abuse, and betrayal. When she first opened up about her past, it wasn't for attention, it was survival. She was bleeding in public, and that takes courage. But when you're vulnerable like that, you expect at least basic respect. You expect people, especially other women in the industry, to either support you or stay quiet, and that's where things started going left. Years ago, when K. Michelle shared her truth on reality TV, the response wasn't all love. Some people doubted her, some people whispered, and some people allegedly mocked her pain. That's when Tamar's name started coming up. No direct call-outs at first, just slick comments, vague tweets, and references that felt a little too close to home. You know how that goes. No name is said, but everybody knows exactly who it's about. And once that door opens, it never really closes again. From that moment on, the energy between Tamar and K. Michelle was never the same. They weren't friends, but they weren't openly beefing either. It was that cold, uncomfortable tension that sits in the room when two people don't rock with each other, but are forced to exist in the same industry. And for a long time, K. Michelle stayed quiet. She focused on her music, her health, her family. She took hit after hit, from career setbacks to serious medical issues, and still kept pushing.
Doing what I felt God wanted me to do, I felt it was the right thing. And that's hard to understand, it really is. But God had called me to do this, and I've tried my very best, even though I feel like I failed miserably, to be honest with you. because the Lord has been so much better to me than I ever could deserve.
Meanwhile, Tamar stayed in the spotlight, jumping from show to show, always with something to say. And every now and then, her words felt like little jabs, perfectly timed whenever K. Michelle was making progress. Now here's where the drama really deepens. This wasn't just about feelings. According to K. Michelle, this started affecting her money. And once somebody starts messing with your bag, that's when things turned serious. She's claimed that opportunities mysteriously disappeared. Shows she was supposed to be booked for suddenly fell through. Doors that were opening quietly slammed shut. And behind the scenes, she kept hearing the same name come up.
We're closer and are closer even today than most cousins would be. We grew up learning to play the piano together.
Tamar, allegedly telling people she wouldn't perform if K. Michelle was on the lineup, allegedly making things uncomfortable for promoters. And even if Tamar never said it directly, the pattern started to speak louder than words. But here's the twist. K. Michelle didn't explode right away. She didn't hop online and start ranting. She didn't drag Tamar every chance she got. She swallowed it. She stayed quiet. She tried to rise above it. And anybody who's ever had to be the bigger person knows how exhausting that is. You keep telling yourself it's not worth it. You keep hoping the other person will grow up or move on. But instead, the pokes keep coming. Little comments here, side remarks there. Always enough to irritate you, never enough to fully confront, until one day something snaps. That moment came when K. Michelle sat down and finally spoke her mind. No filter, no holding back. She didn't say Tamar's name right away, but she didn't need to. The descriptions were clear. The history was clear. And when she said she wanted to slap her, people felt that. Because it didn't sound like a joke. It sounded like someone who has been pushed too far. She talked about feeling targeted, feeling blocked, feeling like every time she tried to move forward, someone was pulling her back. And the frustration in her voice was real. Now, let's talk about Tamar's side, because this is where things get complicated. Tamar has always said she's misunderstood, that people twist her words, that she's just being honest. And sometimes that might be true, but honesty without care can still hurt. And when you're constantly involved in drama with multiple people, at some point, folks start noticing the common denominator. Tamar has had public fallouts with coworkers, comedians, singers, and even her own family. Every time, there's an apology, a healing phase, and then another incident. What nobody expected was how strongly the public reacted this time. A lot of people sided with K. Michelle, not because they hate Tamar, but because they recognized that exhaustion, that feeling of being poked and prodded until you finally lose it. Women especially understood it, the pressure to stay quiet, to not look angry, to not be labeled difficult. And when you finally speak up, suddenly you're the problem. That's a heavy burden to carry. And let's not ignore the emotional weight of everything K. Michelle has gone through. Her health struggles alone would have broken a lot of people. She dealt with severe complications from cosmetic procedures, surgeries that left her in pain, scared, and vulnerable. She shared that publicly to warn other women not to be judged. And when she felt like those moments were being mocked or minimized, it cut deep. Because when you're fighting for your life, the last thing you need is someone throwing shade. The tension between these two women represents something bigger than just celebrity drama. It's about respect, it's about boundaries, it's about what happens when competition turns into sabotage and confidence turns into cruelty. K. Michelle's warning wasn't just about violence, it was about saying, "I'm done letting you play in my face," and that message landed. Now, Tamar hasn't responded in a way that calmed things down. If anything, her usual approach of deflecting, joking, or acting surprised has only made people more frustrated. Because when someone tells you they're hurt, the worst thing you can do is pretend you don't know why. And the internet? The internet doesn't forget patterns. They've lined up the moments, the comments, the timing. And whether Tamar intended harm or not, the impact is what people are focused on now. Imagine being in K. Michelle's shoes for a second. Imagine fighting for your career, your health, your peace, while feeling like someone in your own industry is quietly rooting against you. Imagine biting your tongue for years, trying not to look bitter or angry. And then imagine finally saying out loud what you've been holding in. That kind of release doesn't come from nowhere. That comes from pain.
As for Tamar, this is a crossroads moment. She can keep doing what she's always done, brushing it off, waiting for the storm to pass. Or she can actually sit with the criticism and ask herself why so many people feel the same way about her behavior. Growth isn't just saying you're healing, it's changing patterns. It's owning harm even when it wasn't intentional.
By the end of all this, one thing is clear. This isn't over, not emotionally, not mentally. Whether these two ever sit down and talk it out is anyone's guess. But the warning has been issued, the line has been drawn, and the industry is watching closely. Because when women finally stop being quiet about how they've been treated, it makes everybody uncomfortable.
So the real question isn't who's right or wrong. The real question is why it took so long for this to come out, and what happens next now that the silence is broken. Will Tamar take this as a wake-up call, or will this just be another chapter in a long book of unresolved drama? One thing's for sure, K. Michelle meant what she said, and when someone reaches that point, you'd better believe they're done playing nice.